Hi, I'm Dr. Chad Larson. Thanks for joining me in another episode of Keep It Real. So one of my main objectives of the show is to read the medical journals, medical articles that are out there and interpret them and then bring that information to you, because I have access to a lot of these medical journals that most healthcare consumers don't have access to. And so I just want to bring you some of the latest information as it gets published and gets released. And so today is no different. There's a recent article that was published just last month, and they looked at a few very interesting things. And it's kind of timely because this has seemed like it's been a pretty intense flu season. The flu season kind of started earlier, seems like it's going longer, and the severity of symptoms seem to be greater than in the recent past years. And so this article actually talks about this flu virus, and it talks about a few interesting things. So they wanted to look at a couple specific things that really we didn't have a lot of information about. And the two main things are, let's say number one is they wanted to evaluate the infectious viral particles that are aerosolized. In other words, when they come out of the mouth. They want to quantify how much of those viral particles, those infectious viral particles, in other words, the way that we spread the flu from one person to another, they wanted to quantify that. And that really hadn't been done to much of a degree. So they wanted to determine in different ways how much of this infectious viral particle comes out in the aerosolized form. And they found out something very interesting. They found out that a person does not need to cough or sneeze to get those infectious aerosolized viral particles out. And so that's a little bit different than I think what a lot of people think. And a lot of people go, oh, I was around some sick people, but nobody sneezed or coughed on me, so I think I'm fine. Well, unfortunately, you may not be fine. And just with normal communication, normal interaction, they found out there's actually a very significant degree of infectious viral particles that come out in just normal aerosolized breath. So it doesn't take very much to spread the flu virus. So that was number one. Number two, they found something very interesting. They evaluated people who have been vaccinated for the flu virus. They had the flu vaccination this year and last year. And here's what they determined. So first of all, this study was done on hundreds of people, so it was a good quality study from that regard. And it was published in a good medical journal, which is called PNAS, Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. And this is a good medical journal, and they used hundreds of subjects. And so the second thing they determined, which was interesting and kind of new, I don't think anybody had really made these kind of calculations, is that people who had the flu vaccine this year and last year had a 6.3 times greater amount of infectious viral particle that was being aerosolized. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but 6.3 times, I'm pretty sure equals 630% greater amount of infectious viral particle. So just to be clear about that, people who were vaccinated, had the flu shot this year and last year, had a 630% increased amount of infectious virus that was aerosolized through their breath. And so here's the thing, is I'm asked all the time in my practice, should I get the flu vaccine? And I did a past episode on some recent research on other vaccinations, like childhood vaccination, so you can go back and listen to that one. But the answer I always give is the same I gave in that one, which was just be an informed consumer. If a person is informed about the factual and accurate pros and cons of a vaccination, whether it's a childhood vaccination or it's a flu vaccination, then they have what they need to make the important decision. And this is a medical procedure. Any kind of drug or medicine that's taken, this is a medical procedure. So people need to be well informed about the medical procedures that they're taking. And for some reason, I'm not sure really why this is, but the topic of vaccinations for some reason creates a very visceral, even dogmatic divisiveness. And I'm sure we can go back in the history and kind of figure out how this manifests. It's like talking about religion and politics. It's kind of, I don't really get it personally, but the idea is that I want to put across is that you just want to be an informed consumer. So this new study that was published last month will definitely be a part of the information that I disseminate to people who ask me that question of, you know, should I get the flu vaccine? And I never tell people whether or not they should. I just suggest that they be an informed consumer. And this would be a very good current article for people to read to help them make that decision. And if they still make the decision to get the flu vaccine, awesome. They made an informed decision. I have no judgment about that whatsoever. But just to summarize what this recent article concluded was a couple things. One, a person does not need to sneeze or cough on you to get those aerosolized infectious particles to reach you and for you to get infected. So we know that just normal communication there's enough in the aerosolized breath that has this infectious viral particles to get a person sick. So that's one reason why it could, you know, spread pretty easily. It doesn't take that much. And the second really kind of novel finding that they found in this study was that people who had the flu vaccination, the flu shot this year and last year, had a 630% greater amount of these infectious viral particles that were in their aerosolized breath. So food for thought, interesting information, and so it's just something to think about and to consider for you and your family. And whether or not to get any kind of vaccination absolutely should be a personal decision, and it's a decision that people need to be well informed about. So hopefully that helps. I'll keep reading the studies and reading the information. Until next time, keep it real.